The other thing about California is they have these reservoirs where they store the water. And probably since the 1960s, at least that's the first time I ever remember hearing about this. They've been saying, look, we're going to have a water shortage in California. You know how many, since they've started talking about it, you know how many new reservoirs they've built? 0. We need more drinking water. We get our drinking water from reservoirs. So the solution to me is build more reservoirs. And they haven't. They've only added people. They've not even attempted to solve the problem. Now, is conservation something they need to do? Of course. You don't want to waste water. But conservation doesn't mean have all the farmers who have been on these farms for generations. You don't get any water anymore, okay? We're going to cancel you. That's ridiculous. Again, the number one problem with California is there's too many people there. And the solution that would solve the problem is all you dopey professors who are talking about the lack of water and resources in California. Move to Wisconsin. Nah, you're not going to do that, are you? So I found that story very interesting. Let's segue into gasoline. From global warming, from a drought to gasoline. And this has been around for a while. Regular 88 or unleaded 88, they call it. Okay. What is that? You've seen it at some stations. Casey's General Store gas stations have those. And you'll see 3 grades of gasoline. You'll see 87 octane for, let's say, $2.50 a gallon. You'll see 88 octane for $2.48 a gallon, 2 cents less. Then you see the 93 octane for $2.80 a gallon. Okay, 30 cents more. And you think to yourself, wait a minute. You can get the mid-grade, something better than the 87 for 2 cents less than the 87. What's this all about? Most all gasoline that's sold in this country is up to 10% ethanol. And we do that because it's cleaner. And all of you people who say, well, that's baloney. No, it's not. Ethanol burns cleaner than gasoline. It just does. Now, is it as efficient a fuel? No. You don't get as good a gas mileage with it. You just don't. And if your car does not have the internal parts to withstand the ethanol, it can do damage to your car. That's all factual, okay? But it does burn cleaner. And we introduced E10, 10% ethanol, to burn cleaner. President Obama, when he was in office, went towards implementing and now made legal E15. Now, he wanted to roll it out for every gas station and make E15 the new regular. But we can't do that because if you have a car that was manufactured before, some people say 2001, some people say 2012. If you have a car that was manufactured before that, your car really won't run well on E15. It can damage components. Some car companies like Nissan say you can't run it. You still can't run E15 in your cars, but they give you an option, and they call it regular 88. Now, what this is all about is ethanol boosts your octane level higher than gasoline. I'm going to repeat that. Ethanol, increases your octane level better than gasoline. So if you add 5% more ethanol, your octane bumps up. Ethanol is cheaper than gasoline. Now, much of that is because ethanol is subsidized. And you could say gasoline is, but it's not. The big oil companies get subsidized tax breaks, sure, but ethanol is subsidized by the government. It just is, okay? Now, is regular 88 a good thing or a bad thing? Well, it's funny because, and I've read lots of articles on this, some people say regular 88 is going to save the world. It burns less. It's a renewable resource, or it burns cleaner. It's a renewable resource. We don't have to depend on the Arabs. It helps the farmers, all of which is kind of true. What also is true is some engines, it'll destroy some engines. Some engines won't run as well with them. So, some gas tanks, fiberglass gas tanks in boats, for instance, it'll rot them out. If you let E15 sit in your tank unused for more than a few weeks, it turns to jelly. It's not good, okay? But in many cases, it is good. And you need to make your choice, okay? The petroleum companies say it's horrible, it's the devil, we should never use any of it. The corn growers say, well, we should all be running E85, 85% ethanol, because everything would be better because we don't have to buy oil from the Arabs. Oh, by the way, we don't buy oil from the Arabs anymore. Yeah, we do, but we produce enough oil in this country to sustain ourselves. And the only reason we buy oil from the Arabs is because some of the oil that we produce here, we export. Okay, so we export 10%, and then we import 15% because of logistics and things like that, okay? Because gasoline companies, oil companies can sell to whoever they want. They don't have to have everything sold and used domestically. But this whole regular 88 gasoline controversy interests me because, again, there's no real solution. There's no one answer. In theory, things could be better if everybody ran regular 88 gasoline or everybody ran E85. But the thing is if everybody tomorrow started running E85, and let's say all cars could take E85, and tomorrow they started burning it, we don't have enough ethanol in this country to sustain cars with E85. Same thing, going back to the California story. California has banned coal-burning power plants. They're shutting down the last nuclear plant. In fact, it may be shut down by now. They're shutting down the power plants that are run by natural gas. So very shortly, the only way to get power in California is solar, wind, or hydroelectric. And they have some geothermal too in some parts of the country, but that's 1 or 2%. But the reservoirs are drying up, and they can't generate hydroelectric. And if they're adding to the people, what happens when the sun goes down at night, as happens every day, and the wind stops blowing, which happens quite often? California doesn't have energy. Oh, and by the way, by 2030, 2035 sometime, you're not going to be able to have gas-burning cars in California. They're banned. Everybody's going to have an electric car. So more people, more strain on the grid, and a continuing reduction in ways to generate electricity. It's silly. It's ridiculous. Same thing with regular 88 gasoline. Okay. If we went to regular 88 or E85 tomorrow, we couldn't make enough of it. As a summation, regular 88 gasoline, if you want to use it, use it. E85, if you want to use it, use it. Let the market determine who wants what. Okay. If you want to use it, use it. If you don't, don't. And if nobody buys it, just don't force it on people. If lots of people buy it and they like it, wonderful. Keep manufacturing it and keep selling it. But it's a controversy that doesn't need to be controversial. It's like chocolate ice cream and vanilla ice cream. If you don't like chocolate ice cream, don't buy it. Just buy vanilla. But you don't need to hate on somebody because they're pro vanilla ice cream because you're on team chocolate. Okay? Story number 3, the Supreme Court. And the whole Supreme Court thing to me is, I'm going to say, positive. I smile about the Supreme Court. And Those on the left were soiling themselves when they found out that Donald Trump is going to go ahead and appoint 3 Supreme Court justices. Oh my gosh, we'll have no more freedoms in this country. They're going to do this, they're going to do that. But it turns out that most or all of the Supreme Court justices who were appointed by Donald Trump are kind of in the middle on their decisions. Recently, the Supreme Court's pro-ACA, Affordable Care Act decision. The Supreme Court this week upheld a decision to uphold the Affordable Care Act. I think the state of Texas said, hey, you can't force us to do it. And the Supreme Court said, yeah, you can, because you can't prove that it's harming you in any way. It's the law of the land, and you can't prove that there's a reason why you can't. That was a 7-2 decision. 7-2. Okay. Clarence Thomas, Neil Gorsuch, and Alito were the only 2 who didn't vote for it. Clarence Thomas sided with the majority. Supreme Court Justice sided with the majority. Basically, the Trump nominees, 2 of the 3 Trump nominees, except for Gorsuch, sided with the majority. Now, I think this is a good thing. Not necessarily a good thing that the Supreme Court, all right, now they're on the side of the left, or a bad thing because, well, they should be on the side of the right. Here's the thing, and I'm going to give Trump accolades here. The Supreme Court in this decision, and many others, I think, have been on the side of justice. They're not right. They're not left. They're interpreting the law. They don't have an agenda. They did this earlier this year. It may have been late last year. But there was a case that came up where the Supreme Court voted, I think it was either 7-2 or 8-1, or may have been unanimously, that employers can't discriminate against gay people or transsexual people in the workplace. And many on the right were saying, whoa, what the heck is this all about? We put these people in to do our bidding. No, you put these people in to interpret the law. And they interpreted the law because the law says, look, you can't discriminate against people because of this, and that. That's what the law says. The Supreme Court looked at that and said, yep, the law says this. We're going to rule with the law. There was no activism. There was no agenda. So these Supreme Court justices that Trump put in, I mean, the right is soiling themselves, and the left is saying, yeah, now we need to build on this. Well, you both need to shut up, because you're not building on this. And you're certainly not agenda-driven to go against this. You don't put, if you're putting a Supreme Court justice in because you think they're going to do your bidding, then you're doing it for the wrong way. You need to put a Supreme Court justice in that is going to interpret the law. That's their job. And they seem to be doing that. Okay? And that is what the Supreme Court is all about. A perfect Supreme Court is not agenda-driven. A perfect Supreme Court interprets the law. And that's what they're doing. To me, that's a good thing. It's something that the right is mad and the left is trying to build on this. Well, the right shouldn't be mad because your guys nominated these justices. They should be saying, okay, see how fair we are? And the left, well, let's build on this. You shouldn't be building on stuff. Okay, this happened. Now move on. Justice Breyer, the left wants him to retire so President Biden can go ahead and hurry up and put one of their boys in. Well, why would you do that? Why do you want your boy into the Supreme Court? Wouldn't you really want somebody in that's going to interpret the law fairly? And Justice Breyer is doing that right now. The Supreme Court should not be agenda-driven. That's the reason they're the third branch of government. You have the executive branch, the legislative branch, and you have the judicial branch. The Supreme Court is the top of the judicial branch.